10 places in our solar system that would kill you fastest. One of these places will kill you in under a second. Another one takes its time, a couple of agonizing minutes, giving you just enough time to understand exactly what's happening to your body before it's over. Here's how we're ranking these, how fast and how certain death actually is if you showed up completely unprotected. We're starting on the slow end of things, and fair warning, the last 3 entries on this list exist right at the edge of what the human brain can even comprehend. Number 10. Mars. Mars is the most forgiving place on this entire list, which is exactly why it's at number 10. There's an atmosphere here. It's just about 100 times thinner than Earth's, and it's 95% carbon dioxide. Without a suit, you wouldn't suffocate instantly. First, the pressure around you would drop so low that the moisture on your tongue and in your eyes would literally start to boil at your normal body temperature, a process called ebullition. You'd have around 15 to 20 seconds of consciousness left, and maybe a minute or 2 total before a combination of suffocation, boiling bodily fluids, and cold, which drops to around -220 degrees Fahrenheit, -140 degrees Celsius at night, finishes the job. It's the slowest death on this list, and it's still completely unavoidable. Number 9. The Moon. The Moon has no atmosphere at all. It's a true vacuum. The effect is similar to Mars, just faster. Ebullition kicks in almost immediately. You'd black out in about 15 seconds from lack of oxygen in your blood, and you'd be dead within a minute or 2. But there's a second threat people rarely mention. With no magnetic field and no atmosphere, the Moon's surface is constantly exposed to raw solar radiation. If a solar flare happened to hit while you were standing there, the dose you'd absorb in just a few minutes would be lethal on its own, even if you somehow had air to breathe. Number 8. Mercury. Mercury is a planet of extremes. On the side facing the Sun, temperatures hit 800 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. You wouldn't die from suffocation or vacuum exposure here. You'd essentially cook alive in seconds, before your body even has time to register the pain. But flip the coin. On Mercury's night side, temperatures crash to -290 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you somehow survived the sunlit side and stumbled into the dark, you'd freeze just as inevitably. Mercury is the only place on this list where the planet kills you 2 completely opposite ways at once. Number 7. Titan, Saturn's moon. Titan is the strangest entry on this list. It actually has a thick atmosphere close to Earth's pressure. On paper, that should make it the safest place here, but the temperature sits at a brutal -290 degrees Fahrenheit, -179 degrees Celsius. And the rain and lakes on the surface aren't water, they're liquid methane and ethane. Without serious cold weather protection, you'd freeze from the inside out within minutes. The blood in your veins would start crystallizing before your heart even had the chance to stop. It's the slowest and coldest death on this entire countdown. Number 6. Io, Jupiter's moon. Io is the most volcanically active body in the entire solar system. Hundreds of active volcanoes blasting sulfur up to 300 miles into space. But the real danger here isn't the lava. Io sits right inside Jupiter's lethal radiation belt, and the dose you'd absorb there is hundreds of times higher than what a human can survive. And it would happen within minutes, long before any volcanic eruption ever got close to you. The radiation kills you before the lava even has a chance. Number 5. Europa, Jupiter's moon. Europa is one of the most exciting places in the solar system to scientists. There's a liquid water ocean hiding under its ice, making it a top candidate in the search for alien life. But on the surface, you'd run straight into the same trap as Io, only worse. Jupiter's radiation belts are so intense here that a lethal dose isn't a matter of minutes, it's a matter of seconds on exposed ground. There's something almost poetic about it. The place that looks the most like it could hide life underneath is one of the deadliest surfaces in the entire system. We've just covered 6 places where you'd at least have a moment to understand what's happening to you. From here on, everything changes. The final 4 entries kill so fast your brain wouldn't even have time to register pain. Number 4. Venus. Venus is the closest thing to hell in our solar system. Surface temperatures sit at a constant 870 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than Mercury, despite being much farther from the Sun thanks to a runaway greenhouse effect from its thick carbon dioxide atmosphere. Atmospheric pressure here is 92 times Earth's, the equivalent of standing nearly half a mile underwater. And instead of rain, sulfuric acid falls from the sky. You'd be crushed, cooked, and chemically dissolved all at the same time, and it would all happen within seconds. No material humans have ever built has survived the surface of Venus for more than a few hours. An unprotected human wouldn't last a moment. Number 3. Jupiter's interior. Jupiter doesn't have a solid surface, just clouds that get denser and denser the deeper you go. If you started falling through Jupiter's atmosphere, you might actually survive the first few hundred miles inside some kind of protective craft. But the pressure climbs exponentially from there. At depths no human-built equipment has ever reached, the pressure exceeds millions of times what we feel on Earth's surface. Long before the hydrogen around you turns into its bizarre metallic state, your body and any spacecraft around it would be crushed so fast it wouldn't even look like death. It would look like instantly vanishing. Number 2. The Sun's surface and corona. The Sun is the source of all the heat and light in our entire system, and it's also one of the fastest ways to disappear inside it. The photosphere, what we call the Sun's surface, burns at 9,900 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than any blast furnace humans have ever built. But that's not even the hottest layer. Above the photosphere sits the corona, the Sun's outer atmosphere, mysteriously heated to millions of degrees despite being farther from the core than the surface is. It's still one of the biggest unsolved puzzles in solar physics. If you ended up there, you wouldn't even have time to feel the heat. A flood of X-ray and ultraviolet radiation, combined with a relentless stream of charged particles from the solar wind, would destroy every molecule in your body in a fraction of a second, long before temperature was ever the problem. Number 1. The Sun's core. And finally, the heart of the system that gave it its name. At the Sun's core, temperatures reach 27 million degrees Fahrenheit, and pressure exceeds Earth's atmosphere by 250 billion times. So extreme that hydrogen atoms lose their electrons and fuse together in nuclear fusion, releasing energy that will take hundreds of thousands of years just to radiate its way to the surface as light. You wouldn't even make it to the outer layers of the core. The sheer density of the plasma and the crushing pressure would obliterate and vaporize any matter long before it got close, turning you into a stream of individual atoms dissolved into the nuclear furnace that powers every living thing in this system. There is no more extreme place anywhere in our solar system. And strangely enough, This exact hellscape is where every bit of warmth that makes life on Earth possible actually comes from. 10 places where everything that keeps you alive simply stops working. From a minute of blackout on Mars to the nuclear furnace at the very heart of the system that gave you life in the first place. And that's just 8 planets, a few dozen moons, and 1 star. Next time, we're counting down the 10 strangest planets ever discovered outside our solar system. And trust me, some of them are going to make this list of deadly places look almost tame.